If your voiceover and your game or app audio are stuck together on one track in OBS, you can't fix one without messing up the other in editing. But there's a built-in OBS feature that splits them apart completely for free, no extra software. I'll show you the Windows version and the Mac version because they're actually named and built differently, and a lot of tutorials will gloss right over that. On Windows, it's called Application Audio Capture. On Mac, it's called the macOS Audio Capture source. It's the same basic outcome, but a different setup. I'm on a Mac, so I'll walk you through that live, and I'll cover the Windows steps right alongside it, so this works no matter what platform you're on. Normally, when you record your screen in OBS, everything gets bundled into your desktop audio track. Your game or your video, your browser, notification sounds, all of it mixed in with whatever your mic picks up. Now, both platforms have a way to grab the audio from one specific app and keep it on its own separate audio track, completely independent from your microphone. That means in your editor afterward, you can turn down a notification sound or boost your voice or mute the app entirely without touching anything else. It's an editing time superpower that takes about 90 seconds to set up. On Mac, here's what you're looking for. Click the plus button under Sources and select macOS Audio Capture Source. This is available if you're on OBS 30 or later and macOS Ventura or later. That's pretty much anyone running a recent setup. You want to give it a name, something like browser audio or game audio or something that you'll remember. It's for later. I'm going to call this QuickTime Audio. When you click Properties, you'll get an option to capture all desktop audio or narrow it down to one specific application. We're going to select that. We're going to select the Application Audio Capture. Then we're going to choose an application. In this case, I'm going to choose QuickTime Player and click OK. The goal behind this is we want to select the app whose audio we want to isolate. I'm also going to select another audio track by clicking on the plus sign, choosing macOS Audio Capture. I'm going to change the name to Apple Music. I'm going to change it from Desktop Audio Capture to Application Audio Capture, and I'm going to change it to Apple Music and click OK. I changed my audio mixer from horizontal to vertical just to make it a little bit easier to see all of the different audio channels that we have selected here. Nothing really visually changes other than in the mixer. It's an audio-only source, so make sure you look at the mixer panel and make sure you see all the new faders with the appropriate names you gave them. In this case, we see one for Apple Music and we see one for QuickTime Audio. The Vocaster 2 is just my audio interface for my microphone. So you can see we've got 3 independent audio channels for each of these sources. If you're on Windows, the equivalent is called Application Audio Capture. You click the plus button under Sources and select Application Audio Capture instead. You'll get a window drop-down listing every open application on your machine. Pick the one you want, click OK, and you'll see the same kind of new fader show up in your mixer. It's just a slightly different name with a different menu, but otherwise it's the same result. Now, we have independent faders. That means we can mute them, we can adjust the volume, or apply filters to each one of those without affecting our mic at all. And that's the whole setup on the capture side. You can see it's really quite simple. Here's the step that actually makes this useful for editing, and it's the part many tutorials leave out on both platforms. Click the gear icon next to the fader and Advanced Audio Properties will open. You'll see a row of track checkboxes, 1 through 6. By default, everything is probably checked into track 1, which is why your mic and app audio end up mixed together in the final file. In this case, I'm going to uncheck track 2 and track 3 for my Vocaster 2, which is my mic interface. I'm going to uncheck 1 and uncheck track 3 for the QuickTime Audio, and I'm going to leave track 2 checked. macOS Screen Capture, I don't want any audio here, so I'm unchecking all the tracks. For Apple Music, I'm going to uncheck everything except track 3. So now we have our microphone on track 1, QuickTime Audio on track 2, and Apple Music Audio on track 3. Go ahead and hit close. This just means all the audio is separated at the recording level, not just in the mixer preview. This part of the process is exactly the same on Mac and Windows. Now on the Mac, we'll click on Preferences. On Windows, you would go to Settings. We'll click the Output tab, and we'll click the Recording tab. Now, since I'm actively recording, everything is grayed out down below. So I've gone ahead and pre-selected these tracks prior to starting this recording. But you want to make sure that the corresponding audio tracks that you just selected are marked in the Recording Output tab. So you can see here, I have track 1, track 2, and track 3 are all set to record. When you bring that recording into Premiere Pro or DaVinci or whatever editor you use, you'll now see two separate audio tracks instead of one merged file. Your voice will be isolated on its own track, completely clean, and then your app or game audio sits on its own track next to it. That means you can apply noise reduction to just your voice without touching the app audio. You can duck the app audio underneath your voice automatically. You can mute it entirely in a section where you don't need it. None of that is possible if everything is mixed into one track from the start. Let's go ahead and do a quick video test, and I'll show you what this looks like. So I've got a QuickTime video. I'm going to go ahead and start playing the QuickTime video. Now I'm going to start an Apple Music file playing. So now you can see I'm talking. We've got the cat video playing with voices going over, and we've got Apple Music. Let me drag this music down just a smidge and drag the QuickTime down just a little bit. So there you go, we've got all of these audio sources playing at the same time. Now I'm going to stop all of those. When you stop recording in OBS and export the file, it's going to come out as a single MP4 file. And that throws people at first because a lot of people are expecting there to be a separate audio file for each source. So you would think, okay, I've got source 1, source 2, source 3, so there'll be MP4 for the video file, and then there'll be the associated audio files. It's not the way it works. So what will happen is you'll just get a single MP4 file if you're recording in MP4 format. So I've gone ahead and opened that up in Adobe Premiere. You see the MP4 file and the 3 audio tracks below that. So what we're going to do now is just kind of do a little playback of those so you can see the fact that we did record all that audio independently. So first I'm going to start by playing this just natively with all the audio tracks going. It's going to be chaos for just a second. File playing. I'm pretty sure you heard me talking. You could hear the random music playing and then possibly the video in the background. Now I'll unmute each track individually so you can hear the individual audio recordings. The first, track 1, is the microphone, and drag the QuickTime down just a little bit. So there you go, we've got all of. Now we'll mute that and we'll play the QuickTime audio. Now we'll mute that and finally play the random music. We were able to isolate all of those different audio sources into their own track, which is hugely helpful because now you can go through and you can adjust the volume on each one of those tracks. You can put filters on each one of those tracks. There's so much you can do with that. There are a couple things that trip people up. First, on Mac, this requires OBS 30 or later, macOS Ventura or later. On Windows, Application Audio Capture needs OBS 28 or later. If you don't see the option at all, check your OBS version and update. Second, if the app you want to capture isn't showing up as an option, make sure it's actually open and running before you add the source. Both platforms only will list currently open and active applications. And third, this is the one that caused real confusion for people on Windows specifically. If you've reassigned your audio to track 2, but you're still hearing it mixed in with everything else, double check that it's also unchecked from track 1. Some users have found it stays checked into both even after you've moved it, so it's worth going back into Advanced Audio Properties and confirming. And one more, if part of the audio is cutting out or missing, like dialogue is dropping while music plays, that can be a sample rate mismatch. Check that your system audio settings and OBS are both set to the same sample rate, usually 48 kilohertz. A mismatch has caused partial audio loss for some users. It's mostly reported on Windows, and it's typically while recording video game content. If you found this useful, I've also got a video on OBS mic settings that goes hand in hand with this. Once your tracks are separated, dialing in your mic filters can make an even bigger difference, and that'll be linked below in the description. So that's the setup. It's a few minutes of work now to save yourself a lot of frustration in the editor later. If this video helped you, consider liking this video, subscribing this video, and maybe even sharing this video with some friends. I try to bring content like this to you once a week that'll help you with your creator journey. I'll see you in the next video.